Greek gods and mischief. Name our iconic duo. From the birth of writing, authors and poets tend to waste words describing the thousands of ways how the action and petty desires of the deities cause tragedies and woes. What could a mortal do to even just wound the pride of such powerful entities? Perhaps the greatest defiance one could pursue would be to act independently, scrapping away their godly gifts and servitude, achieving feats of heroism and glory while pretending that the existence of this allegedly almighty patrons is but a fabrication of the mind, ultimately showing that the only thing a man needs to succeed are but a strong will and an iron focus. Greetings my spooky lads, this is the Italian Skeleton here, and today I'm going to answer the question, can you beat Age of Mythology Greek campaign as an atheist? Let's find out. There are 3 rules. Try to beat the Greek campaign as much as possible on hard. Don't use mythological units, godly powers, upgrades, or anything that needs mythic favor to be done. This rule is going to bite me in the future, you'll see. Heroes are allowed as long as you don't need to spend the mythic favor for them. With that said, let us begin. Starting with Omens. The first mission is not particularly eventful, it's designed to be beaten without having to build anything new, holding off with just new units that can be trained at the already established barracks. If well positioned, the Metropolis can sink a pirate ship before reaching the beach, killing the landing party immediately. I didn't manage to do it here, but in testing it usually worked. The final way gets big. My forces are overwhelmed. Once the Atlantean army arrives, I get rid of the centaurs and order the rest to attack the pirates. Things go a bit out of whack, even Castor joins the fray. And he dies while fighting. Sorry Arcanthos. Eventually, the main army stops the pirates, and with only half of the city gets destroyed. Once the last pirate falls, the mission ends. Time to show the pirates some consequences in consequences. I must destroy the pirate city center and then kill their leader, Camus, to win the mission. As a first move, I send my ships to destroy the dock at the pirates' camp. Achieving aquatic superiority early will make the successive assault easier. While I'm doing the attack, I try to cut away the most damaged ship in hope that it survives. It backfires. Since everyone's ship moves at the same speed, my navy ends up in a silly goose chase. On the run, I decide to divert one of the ships to a nearby shipwreck, granting a boon of wood and gold. Also, the wounded ship gets reached and sinks. One aspect of this run I didn't expect is how arbitrary the selection for a god to pass on to the next age becomes, since I can't use any of the powers or units they offer. After bolstering my navy, I go for another jab, while also defending the main camp. As the port falls, I can still refocus on creating a land army. The ships alone can't reach the pirate city center. Once they are at a big enough force, I go. I also bring the 3 remes for fire support. As the tower falls, now the only real obstacle is the city center and some slingers. I decide to play it safe and destroy the pirate's barrack. Because the eye can't rebuild structures in this level, it becomes harmless. Once some reinforcements arrive, I attack the city center. I constantly make Arcanthos disengage and re-engage to get continuous use of his attack boosting war cry. As the city center falls, the pirate with the funny bull mask tries to run away, but is quickly reached, and the mission ends. Now I must scratch the surface in scratching the surface. Supposedly, the first objective is to build a city center and prepare an army, but I know from a previous attempt at a build less run that if I never actually build it, the attacks won't come. And the other real objective to win is to destroy 2 harbors at 2 extremes of the map. I still make some structures, just in case this idea doesn't work on hard. I go for an assault at the port to the east, but eventually abandon the idea, so I reload to set up my base the proper way. There is technically an upgrade I could take that doesn't cost mythic favor, but it just makes me get mythic favor faster, which I can't use, because of rule 2. Once I master the decent army, I attack. I made a juggernaut to destroy the harbor from a safe distance, limiting the potential losses caused by the nearby city center. Now all I have to do is wait, and fend off against attacks, that's implied. As the harbor gets destroyed, Agamemnon arrives with some new troops and siege equipment. I unite them with my main army, then dive straight to the other harbor. The overwhelming force makes quick work of the slim defenses. Once the Metropolis deal the final blow, the mission is over. It's time for a fine plan. I must destroy the gates of Troy.
Ajax and I will keep our men in reserve. When you get through, Ajax will rush his men in to clear out the Trojan defenders. Then I will enter and rescue Helen.
As a first move, I must secure a gold income by conquering one of the nearby mines. I attack a nearby city center. The extra worker production will help a lot. This also makes some Trojan caravans ineffective, reducing their gold income even more. I attack the port of Troy's ally, Cyzicus, to blockade any potential naval assault. I find a relic, but I decide that would be against rules to use it, so I just ignore it. Once the port is destroyed, I send 2 of my ships in a strait to intercept any passing caravan. As I am chasing some fishing ships, I notice that Cyzicus has constructed another harbor. I must destroy it. But I'm too slow. It starts to build a fleet. In the meantime, Troy sends an attack using the bronze power. Stacking the swords in its favor, I have to bring the fight closer to my base. My army gets wiped out. I have to bait the attackers to the city center just to kill them. I survive, but I must improve my defenses. Meanwhile, the new fleet I made gets intercepted. It's not enough. I must make more ships. I do manage to get back the upper hand. It's time to assault the port. I attack it while avoiding the nearby tower and sinking any ship that Cyzicus tries to make. Once it falls, I move the fleet to the strait. Once this mine falls, Troy shouldn't be able to get any more gold, and as such its unit production will reduce. I notice one of Cyzicus' fishing ships. This means that it has built a new port. I must destroy it. Again. I'm tired of constantly sending ships. Once the port is destroyed, I'm leaving the fleet here to blockade. I'm going to use this moment of calm to talk of one of my favorite aspects of this game, the lore blurbs. There is a description for anything. Meat units, heroes, soldiers, structures, upgrades, gods, animals, trees, doodles on the map. If something is clickable, it has a description. What a cool feature is that, right? Imagine if there was a game that fully acted like this. Instead of using dialogues and books, you could read the item description and try to figure out the lore of the world piece by piece. It could be a third-person action RPG set in a dark fantasy world with an art but fair combat system. It could be called Black Sprites, with sprites representing a piece of humanity. If only such wonder game could exist. Anyway, I clear up the coast. Now Cyzicus can't physically build docks anymore. Out of revenge or spite, it sends some archers to disrupt my gold gathering. My army is almost formed and can defend though. Once I reach critical mass, I go. I'm ready. I'm going to rip and tear everything, and the Trojans take out the ukuleles and start singing Why Can't We Be Friends. I have to wait until they run out of breath. I take this opportunity to loop the production of units. I like how, despite using the power, the AI has no idea what's happening. Once the timer stops, it's murdering time. How did Cyzicus rebuild the harbor?
The Greeks seek to destroy our market. If we lose our trade, it will hurt us badly.
Oh no, let me just scream our greatest weakness out loud. Perhaps that will stop them. The final clash has come. The cacophony of battle shall fill the winds. The glory of battle shall be immense. How did Cyzicus sneak an archer force to my gold mine? Anyway, the battle was a resounding success. Time to finish this. After thrashing the defending fortress and brought some reinforcements, it's time for the gates to fall. Once they do, the mission ends. Now I must tie some loose ends with just enough rope. There is a suicide joke here. I can fit it around my neck. I must save Ajax and his forces. He's been flanked by the Trojans. Once rescued, I must make a new army and destroy Troy's outer outpost. I decide to create a huge wall to ward off against constant attack waves. This should smooth the army creation. I also must demolish a tower defending nearby gold deposit. And of course an attack wave comes in the middle of construction. Once the fortifications are up, I start producing for real. A particularly strong attack force comes to my least defended part, but I deal with them. I'm supposed to destroy some stables that Troy proxied, but I ain't had time for that. I like how the game teaches the usage of a particular unit in each scenario inside the objective panel. It's a great way to teach the play without being annoying. There is a hole at one extreme that allows the hoplites to pass. Hehe, oops. As an explorer, this is a game from my childhood, and if memory serves me right, there...
What is this? Troy is attempting to farm outside her walls?
Yes, Arcantos, that's how farming works. There just isn't enough space in cities, you dummy. As I was saying, there should be a hidden path nearby that leads directly inside the Trojan camp, with only a wooden fence and a tower defending. And sure enough, here it is. This allows for a direct attack, circumventing the main defenses altogether. My economy is secure enough. It's time for the army production. Once it's big enough, I attack the camp, while also keeping the production active and setting waypoints as the assault progresses.
We can steal these farms, build a granary here, and get some of our villagers farming them.
We have farms at home, Arcantos. I mean, it's going to be a bloody battle. The city center falls. Time for the fortress. The fortress falls. Time for the production. Once the last barrack falls, the mission ends. Now, too, I hope this works. Same thing my father said before putting on protection, and look at me now! Troy has dealt a serious blow to the Achaeans. They are tempted to escape, but Arcantos and Ulysses have a plan. Use a wooden horse to infiltrate Troy.
A great wooden horse.
I don't understand. Will it fight?
Himbo, I must gather 1,000 wood units to make the horse, while also preventing any scouting party to return to Troy, lest they find me out and send an attack. I'm tempted to try more anti-cavalry horsemen, but it would require me to advance to 3rd age, which is way too time and resource intensive, and ultimately it's not needed. Even in a casual run, it's possible to beat this level with minimal production, so I just end up wasting 100 wood units. In any case, my strategy is to kill any scout with the few forces and towers I have. I put one villager to food gathering with the few goats present. This small sacrifice of food gathering efficiency allows me to create more villagers, helping me in the long run. The first scouting group arrives and tries to attack my villagers. They are quickly dealt with, but not before killing most of my goats, wasting their meat. Rat. Still, I salvage what I can. Once the wood is gathered, it's horse building time. I defend against another scouting party. Troy tries to disrupt me burning down the trees, but it's pointless, and cheating, because no Greek god offers the forest fire power. Only Norse ones do. Troy gets smart, it attacks my villagers. I must defend them. I figured out how the eye works. When I kill half of the scouting force, the rest will retreat and report. However, wounds don't count, meaning I can safely kill 2 out of 6 men of the force. Then severely wound the other 4, at the cost of greater damage taken since they don't die immediately, but this does make sure that none can go back to base. Another scouting party, but the horse is finished. Time for the second part of the mission. Now I'm inside Troy. I must sneakily make my way to some siege towers, then destroy the main gates, allowing Agamemnon's army to enter and burn the city down. I avoid a group of guards, I sneak past a Colossus, kill Cyclops defending the siege towers, get rid of the Colossus.
Why are those Heliopoli out of storage?
You know, they need some fresh air from time to time. And destroy the towers, then the gate. Once it falls, Agamemnon arrives. I move the army back to eliminate the Colossi. They don't exist after all. And this maneuver makes me avoid a sudden lightning storm, saving most of the soldiers for the fight. I use the catapults to destroy more towers, while saying goodbye to the Colossi. Now I can act. And a sudden attack where it destroys all the siege towers. I didn't really need them, but still, not cool. The current objective is to destroy 3 fortresses defending Troy. Once they fall, the mission is over. I attack the closest to my east with the catapults, while also bracing for any enemy pulled, but they don't notice anything. Okay. Now for the ones at my west. Here I can't screw around. I must kill the defenders. And by defenders I mean the only Cyclops with a working eye. I'm already making preparations for the last one. There are 2 strong forces defending it. I don't want to fight them. So I just don't. I get out of the city and find a spot where my catapults can shoot without fear of retaliation. And it works. Once the fortress falls, the mission is over.
Where to now, Arcantos?
Back to Atlantis. This was a welcome break from chasing pirates, but I need to return home.
Well, pirates or not, you need to get your boats repaired.
You don't think they can make it to Atlantis?
No.
There is a port not far from here, Iaklos.
I'm sailing there. I can show you the way and get someone to work on your ships.
Now, to fight more bandits in more bandits. The citizens of Iaklos have been kidnapped. Within them there is the wise centaur Chiron. I must rescue all of them to win the mission. Disclaimer, I actually beaten this mission twice. The first time I had taken control of a plenty vault, and after I won I felt guilty of cheating, so I decided to run this mission again, that's why I know some things more. As a first move, I go east to save some prisoners, while also dealing with any possible attack.
What creatures are these?
Wait, let me read that up. I save some centaurs that point the way to more prisoners. Unfortunately, I can't use them, so I just let them die. I move on to next prisoners. I have to make sure that Ajax does not send one of the guards flying inside the cage, least I can kill him and soft lock myself. It actually does happen, and now I'm forced to reload. After reloading, I take it slow, taking one group at a time. Once the last guard falls, the prisoners are now free. I eliminate the centaurs and rally the militia. I repeat the same strategy for the second city block. I try to save some men, but I end up pulling a lot of enemies. There are too many, I have to reload. This time I take a more southern approach, moving a bit north. But there is a twist. An attack wave was coming to me. I must deal with them. I try the direct assault, hoping to have cleared enough goons. It gets very close, but the results are satisfactory. After more clearing, I bring the Helepolis to destroy the tower, but not the barrack. The way triggers work in this mission is that a block of the city and the standing bandit troops get activated only after the previous one has been liberated. Ergo, if I start the clearing of the central block, I can clear the next one with much more ease. This also messes with the flow of the level, and it spawns 4 neutral Anubites. In any case, I continue the clearing, and pull too many again. Reload. Once I think I cleared enough, I destroy the barrack to move on with the level. Those Anubites are still neutral. Okay. As I'm clearing, an attack sneaks by. They are going to destroy my buildings. I can't let them, but I'm too far and weak. This won't do. I reload. I decide to clear more before activating everything. Once it is done, I destroy the barrack. I leave the militia to defend against attacks, while using the Helepolis to demolish the 2 bandits' buildings. Some Anubites come. They are completely unaffiliated to the neutral ones. Somehow. The attack comes and it's bigger. I have to pull the heroes. Once the temple falls, I get access to the last batch of buildings. I decide to make 5 Petrobolos, then invest the remaining resources in infantry. I'm blind AF. There are 2 barracks already available nearby, and I did not notice them. This was an easily avoidable waste. I cleared the way for the north. The only remaining objective is to destroy the pirates' fortress. Once it falls, the mission ends. Once I'm ready, I master the army. I don't need a refined tactic. I just have to keep the Petrobolos safe while they destroy the fortress. The only thing I truly need is time. And once fallen, the mission is won. That's not a centaur, that's just a guy on a horse. Now to deal with some bad news in bad news. Here, the forces are split in 2 areas, each one abundant with a particular resource, while lacking on the other. To keep off attacks, I make a wall of my own in front of the bandits one, in both positions. The west side gets attacked, and while most of the assaulters are dealt with, their Petrobolos is too far away to be attacked. I have to tear down their walls too. I decide to dedicate the unit production only on the west side. There is a point in the level where the 2 armies can be merged. I plan to advance here so that I can bring Arcantos into the fray. There is no need to use more resources for extra barracks on this side. I'm too slow. Reinforcements arrive and I get overwhelmed. I have to restart. I redo the same strategy, this time putting the wall closer to my base to bait the Petrobolos and create towers to green out any attack. I also destroyed the walls before the coming of an actual assault. And of course the AI decides to attack the part I didn't fortify. Now I had to fortify there too. In the meantime, the guy on the horse stays in the corner. He knows what he has done. Here is the mission where Rule 2 comes and bites me. This is a level full of fortification, so the obvious strategy is to build siege equipment to demolish them. Thing is, I can't build them, because in the fortress, that costs 10 mythic favor. I use it I can't use, because of number 2. I know that I used it in the previous mission to make the Petrobolos, but 1, it was already built, and 2, the fact that the fortress requires mythic favor to be built is ludicrous. I guess they were just like Centaurs and Cyclops, they didn't exist back in the day. And this is the tamest scenario to deal with at a fortress. It will become much worse later on, trust me. There is an upgrade in the armor that gives 5 projectiles to the Toxotes, granting them greater damage against structures, so at least I'm not entirely without tools. Man, these gender rear parties are getting out of hand. I have a small force, not enough to break through everything, but it should cause a bit of a ruckus. This outpost is doomed, but there is a fortress on a hill. My archer can defeat it alone. I have to tank the damage while searching for the way to get to it. I reached the crossroad where the forces can join. Once the fortress and the walls are down, I should be able to open up the way to my eastern base. I only use the archers to demolish the walls. My melee infantry will get severely hurt by the tower if I let them engage. The wall falls and I also established a decent outpost with a new city center. The fortress is down. I can reinforce without fear. Now, with the full force, I use the eastern path to go for the two fortresses at the extreme north of the map. Once they're down, the mission ends. The first assault is brutal. The enemy forces put a violent defense, supported by the nearby towers. Even if I came out winner, I must reinforce before moving out. The first force is almost dead. I retreat, but not before destroying the gate, so that at the very least, the next troops can start the assault immediately. I attack again with a new army. They destroy the two fortresses with ease, ending the mission. Time for some revelations in Revelation. Gargarensis is trying to bust open a mysterious door in the Greek afterlife, Erebus. I must destroy the ram before he succeeds. I leave Chiron behind and go for it. Reinforcements arrive. I can't use any of them. First fight and it's not so bad, but without the extra help each clash is going to slowly grind me out. Some reinforcement that I can actually use arrive. I direct them towards the heroes. There are two chokes. If I manage to make a nearby stone fall, it will create a wall blocking any possible incoming enemy troop. More reinforcements. I limit the centaurs and bring the rest. Once the boulder falls, I move to the next. It's not advised to fight against meat units with regular infantry. The losses are too great. I reload. I pull the regular enemies, then send the heroes to deal with the rest. Then they get help. I had to bring the hoplites. Some relief. Horsemen. I stepped into the battle. Even more come, but I can only use half of them. Victory is achieved and the boulder falls. Just in time for some more hoplites. But it's not enough. I get overwhelmed and my reinforcements get intercepted. I have to reload. This time I go on the offensive, attacking the reinforcements first, then the main force at the ram. Once I think it's safe, I muster the force and go for a frontal assault. I bait the meat units at the heroes, while the rest deal as much damage as possible. The forces are substantial. It's not going to be an easy fight. As it looks like I'm winning, enemy reinforcements arrive, turning the tide. It's simply too much. I lose everything. As I vainly wait for more reinforcements, I come to the angry conclusion that this level is impossible at art without divine interventions. So for the first and hopefully last time in the run, I have to drop the difficulty from hard to moderate. I redo the early strategy for both boulders. Once the ram is cleared, I start the demolition. What makes this level extra difficult is that it's a very timed mission. If the door runs out of health, I lose. You can even lose faster when making your troops attack the door, but let's avoid doing that.
What will it take to destroy this ram?
Excessive violence and patience seems to be working. After a bit of waiting, the ram falls even before any of Gargarensis' villager is capable to repair it. That done, the mission ends. It's time for the dangers of strangers. Arcantos and the others are stuck in Erebus and must find a way to escape. Because this is a foreign land to them, they have a very limited vision range. The intended way is to use the shades to see and as instant killers for very strong units. Unfortunately, I can't use them, so away they go. My side is going to be severely hampered for the whole level. Every battle will feel like an ambush. Macabre. There are many meat units with instant kill abilities on this map. I have to send Arcantos and Ajax alone if I want to avoid a lot of losses. There are also wooden fences all over, forbidding any kind of direct escape. This is the second most difficult battle here. Not only my heroes have to fight in total darkness, there are 10-12 Cyclops on patrol. I had to brawl them with the back of my heroes facing a nearby mountain, otherwise they will get overwhelmed. My two heroes still die go to sleep, but have managed to get rid of 3/4 of the Cyclops. I make them get up and recover a bit. before diving them into the fray. Once the last Cyclops dies, 4 obelisks spawn, allowing for a bit of sight relief. Mummies? I must have taken the wrong exit. Now I am in the Egyptian afterlife. I have to cross the river using the automated system of navigation. Truly, the Greeks were great inventors. Joke aside, there is no way to cross the river without using the 100 boats, so I just moved the army on the other side, while using the rest of the ships as shields. Once they reach the shore, I immediately eliminate them.
We are rescued.
Not really, I'm afraid. Still, a nice place where to rest Chiron while the others clear the way. Passing through the nicest city in the underworld, I fight snakes. Literally the worst unit in the entire game. Even villagers beat them. Once I get the last relic, I must go to 3 temples at the extreme west of the map to win the mission. I dive head down. The meat units that defend them are too many and too strong. I just need to demolish the fence and reach the temples. Fighting is pointless. I reach a critical point. If I get past here, victory will be in my grasp. The fence is down. I command to move, but I get stuck. In darkness, 2 colossi block the route, making it impossible for the heroes to reach the end. I try to demolish another fence, but it's pointless. I have to reroute. Second attempt. It ends badly. At the 3rd attempt, I try to move all the heroes, leaving the soldiers behind. My heroes get surrounded. Reload. At the 4th attempt, I decide to clear a bit before moving. Perhaps that will help. This is the closest thing a real-time strategy ever came close to a feeling of anxious disorientation. My heroes get hurt by something they can't even see. It's creepy. I like it. Once cleared enough, I send the troops first. With a bit of effort, the heroes manage to reach the fence and breach it. I didn't even need to use Chiron. As my heroes get slowly reached by the armies of Erebus, the mission ends.
Temples. Arcantos. The gods have favored you before. Perhaps one of them will now, if you ask.
We are lucky that one of these honors Poseidon.
We are not done yet. There are still fights to be had in the Egyptian sands, but that's enough for today. So yeah, apart from Mission 9, it is indeed possible to beat the Greek campaign as an atheist on hard. Thanks for watching, my spooky lads. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, subscribe and do all that good jazz. See you next time.